Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Jameis Winston posted a video on his Instagram. It's a workout video. Good to see him moving around as well as he is, throwing the ball, taking snaps under center. He's got that big brace on his left knee. You can go look at his Instagram if you want to see the video. It's posted a lot. A lot of people, well, if you actually go look at Twitter, what you're going to see is this goofy video of Jameis with like what looks like a shake weight that's actually a barbell. If you can imagine that. If you're watching, there it is. But there's a workout that he's doing or an exercise he's doing where his feet are on an ab ball, and so he's elevated kind of in a bridge, and then he's doing bench press with this sort of shake weight barbell. Anyway, it looks goofy. It just looks goofy, and so he's getting clowned on social media for it. But I'm not so much going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on the fact that you've got a dude that is clearly and fully committing himself to getting in great shape, rehabbing his knee, and being ready. Remember, he got hurt on Halloween. And that's a dude already participating in voluntary OTAs and out there in minicamp as well. We're not even in a training camp yet, let alone the preseason or the regular season. Dude's already out there. So that can't be lost. Massive props to Jameis for committing himself to being physically ready to go this early as much as he has. Dude's got a lot to prove. And he's got a lot of doubters that he can certainly quiet. And Mickey Loomis, the Saints GM, did an interview on the Datitude podcast, and he talked about the confidence they have in Jameis Winston.
And so everyone has seen and understands the talent. The rest of it is just, look, understanding the position, developing as a quarterback, being a leader of your team. And I think Jameis has grown in every one of those areas. And I would say he would say that he's not a finished product yet. And yet, man, he's made a lot of progress. We like what we've seen. We like what we saw last year. We like what we saw the year before when he didn't play.
And all of that is, I think, very, very evident. To me, anyway. And maybe I'm a gigantic homer. I think if you listen to this show, I try very hard, almost to a fault, to not be a homer. Sometimes to the point where a lot of you accuse me of going the complete opposite direction. And that's fine. But the point remains, I think that Jameis Winston is everything Mickey Loomis just said. Physically, he's 100% that guy, and he has shown over and over and over again that mentally, from a maturity standpoint, he's ready to be that guy as well. Now he just has to go do it. And as much as people clown on him, he's going to have that opportunity. Now, there was other quarterback news out of the NFL today, and it's in Cleveland. And the reason I bring up Cleveland, and it's the only reason I even care about this right now, is because Week 16, the Saints play in Cleveland against the Browns. And today, Deshaun Watson is beginning his hearing with the NFL and the NFLPA. And also, Baker Mayfield, who, of course, is the former number one overall pick of the Browns, who has been excused from all of their offseason work, and the Browns have still yet to find a trading partner for Baker Mayfield. Baker was doing a camp in Norman, Oklahoma, and he essentially said of the Cleveland Browns, for that to happen, there'd have to be some reaching out, but we're ready to move on, I think, on both sides. That's a direct quote from Baker Mayfield saying both sides are ready to move on. Now, a major sticking point for Cleveland, of course, is the fact that Baker is owed $19 million this year, and there's no team that's been eager to pay him, to give up an asset to get Baker Mayfield, to then have to pay him $19 million this year. They've talked, there's been reports that the Browns have talked to Carolina, which that would be interesting, because now instead of the Saints facing Sam Darnold twice, you're talking about facing Baker Mayfield twice. That's a very different equation. But as of now, let's accept that it is what it is. Baker Mayfield's going to be playing somewhere in 2022 where we don't know yet. And if it's Carolina or Seattle, the Saints have both of them on the schedule and Cleveland as well. So there's at least an outside shot that the Saints could be facing Baker Mayfield with one of those teams. But the thing that I was looking at is, and this is what I was considering, the Browns went and signed Jacoby Brissett as their backup, the backup for Deshaun Watson, their sort of insurance policy in the event that Watson's ineligible, he's suspended by the league, whatever the case may be. So if the Saints face Jacoby Brissett week 16 in Cleveland, that's a pretty decided advantage for New Orleans, in my opinion anyway. Let me know if you disagree. But I started thinking about this in terms of the Saints' projected win totals for this year, out in Las Vegas, where they're projected to win 8 games. They're projected to go 8-9. That's what the odds makers have the Saints win total at 8, over under 8. And I started thinking of it in those terms relative to the quarterback matchups that the Saints are going to face. And that's not always a given. I mean, we saw the Saints with essentially Trevor Siemian last year beat Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. So it's not always a given that the better quarterback's going to win. We saw Daniel Jones come to the Dome and win. But generally speaking, if you have the better quarterback, you have an advantage in the game. And so when you look at the quarterback matchups that the Saints have this year, there's some where it's obvious you're at a disadvantage. You play Tampa twice. Tom Brady's better. That's not even a question. But the Saints have done well against Tampa. You're going to play Joe Burrow. You're going to play in Arizona against Kyler Murray. You're going to play at home against Las Vegas and Derek Carr. You're going to play against Baltimore and a former MVP in Lamar Jackson. There's some games where I don't even think it's really debatable. You're at a disadvantage at that position. But the more I look at it, there's more games on the schedule where the Saints, with Jameis Winston, as it looks today, are going to be better at the most important position on the field than their opponent. Let's look at this real quickly. You open, and there's another factor that's important here, which I'll get to. You open on the road Sunday, September the 11th at Atlanta. You're probably facing Marcus Mariota. Jameis and Mariota, of course, are 1-2 in their draft. I don't think there's anybody that would argue that the Saints would have the advantage in that game. Would argue against that, excuse me. The Saints with Jameis, healthy Michael Thomas, you drafted Chris Olave, you bring in Jarvis Landry, that defense, the Saints with Jameis have an advantage over the Falcons with Marcus Mariota. Then you play Tampa, of course, it's Tom Brady. Then you go to Carolina, Sam Darnold. The Saints with Jameis have an advantage over Carolina with Darnold. Then you play Minnesota in England with Kirk Cousins. I would give the edge to Cousins. Then you're home against Seattle with Drew Lock. That's advantage Saints. Saints with Jameis at home against Seattle with Drew Lock. Then you're going to play Burrow. Then you're at Arizona and Kyler. Then you're home against the Raiders with Carr, and you're home against Baltimore with Lamar. So you're at a disadvantage, I think, in all of those, at least at that position. Maybe not 1-53, but at that position. Then you're at Pittsburgh, y'all. And remember, I don't know if you saw the news today, but Pittsburgh is projecting to start Mitch Trubisky. Like, LOL. I mean, if it was Ben Roethlisberger, I'm not liking the Saints' chances. But on the road in Pittsburgh against Mitchell Trubisky, I'm going to go advantage Saints. You're home against the Rams in Stafford. But y'all, then you're at San Francisco, and Trey Lance is likely going to be starting for the first time in his career. Now, we'll see how good Trey Lance is as a starter, and I think they have a lot of optimism, but it's still a guy who's going to be the starter for the first time in his career. Then you're at Tampa. We know that story. You're home against Atlanta. We talked about them already. Then you get to your stretch at Cleveland and Jacoby Brissett potentially. You're at Philly and Jalen Hurts, which I think you know how I feel about Hurts. I think he's a running back playing quarterback, and the more the league sees him, the more they're going to figure out, the more he's going to struggle. And then you're home against Carolina and Darnold. Now, some of that's subject to change, obviously, because we'll see what happens with Watson and Mayfield and how all that goes. But Man, I look at it, you're going to play Atlanta twice with Mariota. You're going to play Carolina twice with Darnold. You're going to play Seattle with Drew Lock. You're going to play at Pittsburgh with Trubisky, at San Francisco with Lance, at Cleveland with Brissett, and at Philly with Hurts. That's 9 games. That's 9 games right there. That's 9 games where you're better at the most important position on the field. Like, and think about the road opportunities. You're going to play at Atlanta, you play them twice, obviously. You're going to be at Atlanta, at Carolina, at Pittsburgh, at San Fran, at Cleveland, at Philly. 6 of those are on the road. The other 2 are home division games. 6 of those 9 games I mentioned are on the road, where you're going to be better under center than the team you're facing. The more I look at that, and the more I think about this schedule, look, it sucks that you got to play Cincinnati and Joe Burrow, and you're home against Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. You're home against the Rams and Matt Stafford. But at least those games are at home. 6 of your road games, you're better under center than your opponent. So, listen, I'm not trying to overstate the importance of what happens there in Cleveland with Watson and Mayfield, but whatever happens there will have a direct impact on New Orleans. Because if Watson's playing for Cleveland, they're a better team than you. If Baker Mayfield's playing for Cleveland, they're probably a better team than you. If Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback in Week 16 in Cleveland, I love the Saints' chance to go to Cleveland and win. And when you're talking about a team that a year ago missed the playoffs by 1 game, yeah, 1 game can be the pivotal thing that is the reason you're playing into January or why you're at home. So yes, I do think what happens in Cleveland, what happens with Baker Mayfield, is something that if you're a Saints fan, you have to keep a keen eye on. Because if Baker's not playing in Cleveland, there's a good chance he's playing in Carolina or Seattle, and both of those teams are teams that are on your schedule this year. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm not giving you any deep commentary about Deshaun Watson, what happened or didn't. I don't know. I'm not going to say I don't care, but it's not fodder for this show. Where Baker Mayfield goes, I only care because of how it might affect New Orleans this season. But the big picture is, I really like the way the Saints schedule plays out because you have tough games where you're disadvantaged at quarterback at home, and 6 of your road games this year, you're better at quarterback than the team you're going to face. Especially if Jameis hits that curve like I think he will, and like the Saints organization thinks he will. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.